So for the last 3 years in July, I've done a video called One Trade for Each Team by the Trade Deadline. But you know me, trades and I go together like steel and magnets.
Magnets! Oh!
So since I'm bored, I decided to do a video on one way too early trade for each team as well. Let's get to it. Starting off with the LA Angels, I think they should trade Patrick Sandoval. The Angels stink, but they do have a starting pitcher with plenty of control in Patrick Sandoval that should net them a good return. He's a reliable arm teams look for at the deadline, so I could see the Angels using him to get back some prospects for the future. For the Houston Astros, if they buy, I think they should trade for Eric Fedde. If they sell, I think they should trade Alex Bregman. The Astros got off to a bad start, but have played better as of late. If they're in it at the deadline, I think they could use some more starting pitching depth considering they've had plenty of injuries so far, and Eric Fedde is off to a good start with a cheap contract on a bad White Sox team, but shouldn't cost a whole lot. Even though the Astros have a weak farm system, they should be able to afford Fedde. If the Astros end up falling out of contention, it would be wise to move Alex Bregman to a team in need of offense considering he's a free agent after this season. For the Oakland A's, I think they should trade JP Sears. The A's were looking good there for a while, but after a couple of bad weeks, they've come back down to earth. One guy they could use to get back some prospects, though, is starting pitcher JP Sears. He's been an innings eater the last couple of years and is under plenty of control. Combine that with teams always looking for starting pitching at the deadline, and the A's could get back some valuable pieces for the future. For the Toronto Blue Jays, I think they should trade Yusei Kikuchi. The Blue Jays have gotten off to a bad start, and it could be looking like they're heading towards a retool. Yusei Kikuchi is off to a great start, though, and could be a good rental for pitching-starved teams, while the Blue Jays could end up getting a decent package of prospects to help them with their retool. For the Atlanta Braves, I think they should trade for Zach Eflin. We've seen rumors lately of the Braves showing interest in Zach Eflin, and I think this would be a good addition for their rotation that lost Spencer Strider at the beginning of the year. With Chris Sale always a question mark with health, and Reynaldo Lopez lacking the track record of a proven starter, it could be wise for the Braves to add a veteran in Eflin who's playoff proven, but shouldn't break the bank for the Braves to acquire, considering he only has 1 year left on his contract after this season, along with an increasing salary. For the Milwaukee Brewers, I think they should trade for Luis Severino. The Brewers' offense has been fantastic this season, but their starting pitching seems to be just getting by, as they only rank 26 in Fangraph WAR. They could call an old friend in David Stearns, who could have a guy available if the Mets keep trending backwards in Luis Severino. He's looking like his old self this year and would bring a big boost to the Brewers' rotation. For the St. Louis Cardinals, if they buy, I think they should trade for Tommy Pham. If they sell, I think they should trade Paul Goldschmidt. After a slow start, the Cardinals are red hot lately and currently sit within reach of a wild card spot and a bit further out in the division. If the Cardinals keep this up, they're sure to be buyers. If they go that route, I suggest they bring back an old friend in Tommy Pham, who's playing great for the White Sox and could give them an upgrade in their outfield, which only ranks 25th in WRC+. If they end up selling, they should trade Paul Goldschmidt. Even though he's off to a slow start this season, he's picked it up a little bit lately, and he's a free agent soon. There's no use in keeping him if they sell, so they might as well unload him to a contender in need of some offense. For the Chicago Cubs, I think they should trade for Tanner Scott. With the Cubs lacking a lefty in their bullpen, which ranks 15th overall, as well as Adbert Alzolay having issues with his arm, it could benefit the Cubs to go after a proven closer, Tanner Scott, who's also a lefty. While his walks are way up this year, he's still got great stuff and would be a solid addition at the back end of the bullpen to give insurance for Alzolay. For the Arizona Diamondbacks, I think they should trade for Jalen Beeks. The D-backs have been playing better as of late, but their bullpen has been up and down so far this season. Jalen Beeks is having a good season in the Rockies bullpen. His strikeout numbers have gone down, but he's getting more fly balls this season at an above league average 45%. This would go perfectly with the Diamondbacks outfield defense, which ranks second in outs above average. For the LA Dodgers, I think they should trade for Bo Bichette. The Dodgers have been rolling with Mookie Betts as their shortstop so far this year, and while they've been able to get by, it hasn't been that smooth considering his -3 fielding run value so far. Despite the great effort, the Dodgers could use an actual shortstop, and with the Blue Jays possibly looking to retool, Bo Bichette could fit the bill. While Bo has gotten off to a slow start, he's starting to pick it up a little bit as of late, and he has the track record and can definitely get it going even more. For the San Francisco Giants, I think they should trade for Luis Robert. The Giants have had a lot of injuries so far, but that hasn't been their only problem. While they do rank 10th in WRC+, I think they could use an impact bat. Sure, Robert has dealt with a hip injury so far this year and other injuries in the past, but when healthy, he's a difference maker the Giants could use. For the Cleveland Guardians, I think they should trade for Taylor Ward. While the Guardians' offense is much improved from last year, right field has been a bit of a black hole for them offensively, as they only rank 24th in WRC plus at the position. Since the Angels stink, Taylor Ward, who's having a solid season, would be a great bat to add alongside Jose Ramirez and Josh Naylor. For the Seattle Mariners, I think they should trade for Pete Alonso. Since the Mariners have the highest strikeout percentage so far, it would benefit them to add a bat that, well, doesn't strike out as much. They could also use some more pop in the lineup, as they only rank 19th in slugging percentage. Pete Alonso can provide power, as well as a bat that doesn't strike out too much. Sounds like a good fit, if you ask me. For the Miami Marlins, I think they should trade Jesus Luzardo. Out of all the players the Marlins need to trade in this upcoming fire sale, it has to be Jesus Luzardo. He has 2 more years of control after this season, and while he did get off to a slow start, including an elbow problem, he's looking better since coming back and has a much lower FIP compared to his ERA. He's a top of the rotation caliber pitcher any team in contention would love to have. For the New York Mets, I think they should trade JD Martinez. Since I already covered a couple of Mets on here already, let's now look at JD Martinez. He signed a 1-year deal with the Mets near the end of spring training, and he's hitting well so far. He would be a solid veteran bat for playoff contending teams in need of some offense. Hey everyone, just want to take a moment to shout out our friends over at Mando. So I've been using this same stick of deodorant here for the past few months, and while I've used some good deodorants in the past, Mando is easily the best smelling one I have ever used. Trust me, I'm very particular about things that are scented, and this stuff here smells great. It lasts all day, and like I've said, I've been using it for the past few months now, and there's still a lot left in this stick. I'm not kidding. I put this on this morning, and it's what, 5 o'clock now, and it still smells wonderful. And it doesn't even have any of those harsh ingredients like aluminum or baking soda, and you can literally put it anywhere on your body. They offer much more than bars of deodorant though. They have deodorant creams, deodorant wipes, and even soap in either body wash or cleansing bar form. Father's Day is also just around the corner, and I'm telling you, if someone got me some Mando products to use, I would be quite the happy fella. So if you want to up your hygiene and scent game, or just get Dad a great Father's Day gift while also helping support the channel, you can get $5 off a starter pack right now, which is a 40% savings. Not a bad deal if you ask me. So go shop Mando and their Father's Day bundle using the code HYDE at shopmando.com. Now, let's get back to the video. For the Washington Nationals, I think they should trade for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Some people might hate this idea, but you know what? I would love to see it. The Nats are exceeding expectations and see themselves in the wild card hunt. All season, they've relied on their speed to help manufacture runs for their weaker lineup, so why not add a big bat in Vlad Jr.? While the power has gone down the last couple of years, he's still posting a solid WRC plus and on-base percentage, and the Nationals would have him along with CJ Abrams and some prospects coming up eventually in James Wood and Dylan Cruz. For the Baltimore Orioles, I think they should trade for Jesus Luzardo. Alright, back to Luzardo. Yeah, the Orioles need to do this. They have the prospects to get it done, and a group of Corbin Burns, Jesus Luzardo, Kyle Bradish, and Grayson Rodriguez would be lethal in the postseason. This would also help the rotation down the stretch, as John Means is once again having concerns with his arm. For the San Diego Padres, I think they should trade for Andrew Kittredge. The Padres already made a trade earlier in the season for Luis Arraez, and he's been a big boost for the lineup. With their starting pitching doing well with the addition of Dylan Cease this past offseason, let's add to this bullpen. The one thing the Padres love in their bullpen is velocity, as their group ranks 4th in velocity this year. However, they don't rank well in chase rate, as they only rank 26 overall. One guy who's having a bounce back year is Andrew Kittredge, and he's also generating one of the highest chase rates in baseball this season. If the Cardinals do hang on to Kittredge, I'd suggest going after another reliever with a good chase rate like Lucas Erceg on the A's. For the Philadelphia Phillies, I think they should trade for Michael Kopech. The Phillies have been rolling with Jose Alvarado as their closer this year, but I think they could use another weapon to solidify the back end of the bullpen as they go for a championship this season. Michael Kopech has been solid since converting back to a reliever, and let's be real, it would be awesome to see Dave Dombrowski trade for Kopech after he traded him to the White Sox back in 2017 for Chris Sale. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, I think they should trade for Gavin Sheets. The Pirates could use a bit more production from the left side of the plate, considering their lefty hitters only ranked 27th in WRC plus versus right-handed pitching. Gavin Sheets could be a good answer here, as his left-handed bat has been productive versus righties this year. He could pair well with Andrew McCutchen at designated hitter. For the Texas Rangers, I think they should trade for JoJo Romero. Sure, the offense has been a bit up and down this year, but I expect this lineup to get going at some point, and the rotation has been surprisingly solid despite injuries, but Scherzer, DeGrom, and Eovaldi should be back at some point this season. With that in mind, let's add a lefty to the bullpen, which only has one at the moment, and JoJo Romero could be a solid option. While veterans Kirby Yates and David Robertson have been tremendous, Romero has been good for the Cardinals and would give them some insurance. If the Cardinals don't make Romero available, then someone like Tim Hill on the White Sox could be another option who could also provide a different look with his submarine delivery. For the Tampa Bay Rays, I think they should trade for Ryan Helsley. Let's stick with Cardinals relievers here. The Rays have been an up-and-down team so far, and one big reason for this has been their bullpen, which ranks dead last. Let's give them a shot in the arm and add one of the top closers out there in Ryan Helsley, who's having a healthy bounce-back season with the Cardinals. The Rays have used several guys for save opportunities, so this would give them someone established in that role. If Helsley isn't available, perhaps someone like Hunter Strickland on the Angels, Yimi Garcia on the Blue Jays, or Reed Garrett on the Mets, who's having a breakout season. The Rays have been struggling as of late though, so if they find themselves further out in the standings come July, I say they trade Randy Arozarena. While he has gotten off to a slow start this year, he's still shown some pop, has a good track record, and has 2 more years of control after 2024. For the Boston Red Sox, I think they should trade for Paul DeJong. After a quiet trade deadline last season, I expect the Red Sox to buy, and they could use someone to solidify the shortstop position after losing Trevor Story for the season. While Ceddanne Rafaela did fill in admirably there, he's better off in center field. David Hamilton has also been getting some playing time there, but he's versatile and can help off the bench. DeJong could be a solid veteran rental to fill that hole for the rest of the season, who could give the Red Sox good defense and a little bit of pop from the right side. If the Red Sox end up selling, trading closer Kenley Jansen would be a smart move, as he's in the last year of his contract. I could also see the Red Sox still trading Kenley Jansen since he's in the last year of his contract, and they're trying to add more prospects to that organization, and they could simply just retool and have another reliever or relievers take over the closer role. For the Cincinnati Reds, I think they should trade for Jazz Chisholm. The Reds have suffered a lot of injuries this year, and it's shown with the offense, as they only rank 29th overall. The outfield offense has been a big issue as well, especially with center fielder TJ Friedl suffering multiple injuries, but one guy who could help fill the void is power speed threat Jazz Chisholm. The Reds already like to utilize their speed, as they lead the major leagues in stolen bases, but only rank 22nd in home runs. Jazz could help give them a lift there, and when Friedl comes back, he could simply slide into left or right field. For the Colorado Rockies, I think they should trade Justin Lawrence. Sure, the Rockies have played well as of late, but it's hard to see them getting to a point where they end up being buyers. I'm sure Rockies fans would love to trade Chris Bryant, but that contract isn't going anywhere. Instead, let's move Justin Lawrence. Sure, his ERA above 5 doesn't look great, but his FIP looks much better, and he has a ton of control before hitting free agency. This could help bring back some value from a team looking for bullpen depth. For the Kansas City Royals, I think they should trade for Brian De La Cruz. After a busy offseason, the Royals are off to a great start, but they haven't gotten much offense out of their outfield, as they only rank 29th in WRC plus there, or at designated hitter, where they only rank 23rd. One guy out there that could give them a boost, who can both DH and play in the outfield, is Brian De La Cruz, who's become one of the Marlins' better hitters this year after a down 2023, posting a 113 WRC plus with 9 home runs. For the Detroit Tigers, I think they should trade for Abraham Toro. The Tigers desperately need offense. With their outfield pretty much set in stone, Torkelson and Baez locked into their positions, Colt Keith starting to heat up, and Carpenter's bat needing to stay in the lineup, this leaves third base open to some wiggle room, considering Gio Urshela has versatility. One guy out there who also has positional versatility is Abraham Toro, who's off to the best start in his career so far of the A's, posting a 128 WRC plus. For the Minnesota Twins, I think they should trade for Ryan Presley. The Twins have been hot and cold so far this year, despite having a decent offense without Royce Lewis, who is due back soon, and a stronger than expected start starting rotation. The Twins should focus on their bullpen, where they only rank 19th. Yohan Duran is off to a shaky start, so they could use some more insurance. If the Astros end up selling, a veteran like Ryan Presley would be a great option. If the Astros end up buying or standing pat, the Twins should look towards other veteran arms. For the Chicago White Sox, I think they should trade Tanner Banks. I've already included a few White Sox players on here, but let's finish this off with reliever Tanner Banks. He's a late bloomer for the White Sox at 32 years old, but the advanced metrics say he's better than you think. While his ERA may be near a 5, his FIP is in the low 3s, and he has a solid strikeout to walk ratio of 11 strikeouts per 9 and 1.6 walks per 9. And last but not least, for the New York Yankees, I think they should trade for Andrew Nardi. The Yankees have looked fantastic so far, and a big reason for that has been the addition of Juan Soto, who's looking like an MVP so far. The rotation, though, has also stepped up in a big way, even without Garrett Cole, and with him returning soon, they should focus on solidifying the bullpen. While lefty Victor Gonzalez has been effective, their other lefty, Caleb Ferguson, has had issues. The Yankees should look towards the Marlins, who happen to have a solid lefty who's under a lot of control in Andrew Nardi. While his ERA doesn't look great right now above a 5, he has a much lower FIP, and he's striking out 11.3 batters per 9 and walking 3 per 9, and would be a solid addition at the back end of the bullpen with Clay Holmes. So those are my ideas. Tell me what you think down below. Give me your trade ideas down below in the comments, but that's all I have for right now.